Hey YouTube, I'm back again with some more pickups. So it's Thursday the 5th of November today, day one of lockdown 2.0. So all the shops, well not all the shops, but all but I guess essential shops have now closed again in England. Stuff like CEX, HMV, all the charity shops are all going to be short. Poundland, I'm not so sure. I'll need to check on that because they do some food items. Whether it's enough for them to be allowed to stay open, I don't know. But obviously the supermarkets are all still open, but they're not that great these days when it comes to buying Blu Rays and DVDs. They tend to just have the most recent releases and then a few things at lower prices, I guess, but not that great. You know, they are bargaining there. Obviously, most recently, Morrison's have had those Running Man Blu-rays at 2 for £8 with an £8 trade-in each, and that's still going. But of course, no CEX, so the only way to trade them in is to do it online. I'm assuming CEX pay for the postage when that happens. If you do it online, I've never actually done it, but I can only assume that they pay for the postage. I don't know. Anyway, onward on, and I haven't even started yet. So yesterday I went out into Middlesbrough. I did a video on Monday, what I bought in Stockton on Monday. Decided in the end on Tuesday I didn't go out, and but I went out yesterday. It'd been the last proper day before this lockdown, this new lockdown, and I picked up a few things, but not an awful lot. So first of all, in Shelter, still doing their 3 for £1. So I got for £1 Chuck complete first series. I do own this, but the one I've got is in a box that is probably double the thickness of this. It's a fatter box. It doesn't match any of the others that are on the shelf, so for 33p I'll do as a replacement. This is also another one that I own, the Animatrix. This one being the snapper case. Mine doesn't have this booklet inside, and again for 33p it's worth getting it for that. And the other one means I've got another spare case, which they always come in handy. And then this one ironically is for trade at CEX, which at the moment I can't. It's another copy of Phoenix Nights. I've come across a few of these over the last few weeks. I believe the trading on this has gone down. It was at £2, but I think it may be down to about £1.50 now. Yeah. Then while I was in town, I went into One Below. The last few times I've been in there, I've had nothing new, but seems to have put out all the Christmas stock, and they had the Christmas music on. It was only what, the 3rd of November, and they've got the Christmas music on in the store. I'm just happy I don't work in that store, because I think a week, not even a couple of weeks, but by Christmas it must drive you mad having to listen to Christmas music for almost 2 months. Anyway, I picked up a few Blu-rays at £1 a piece. These are all Christmas ones, all kids ones as well actually. So I got Saving Santa in 3D, Alpha and Omega, Holiday Adventure, and Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. So yeah, for £1 each, I thought they were pretty good. And then got these from another charity shop. So there's been a few charity shops well, in Middlesbrough there's been a couple of charity shops. Actually, there were 3 charity shops that never reopened after the last lockdown, immediately at least. 4th one, in fact. One of those is permanently closed. Shelter opened a few weeks ago. And the other 2, one I think was Marie Curie, and the other one, which is where I got these from, My Sister's Place. So they've been shut since the start of the last lockdown. And the last time I was in town in Middlesbrough, which was probably only a couple of weeks ago, if that, in fact, both that and Marie Curie were still closed, and they reopened, and of course they're having to close again now because of this lockdown. But I got these 3 for £1 a piece. All the DVDs in there are £1 a piece. But there was a few Blu-rays, and I managed to grab these 3. So, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Hellboy 2. This is a 2-disc edition. I have the single disc Real Heroes edition of this, but I didn't have the standard one. And this took a little bit of searching. So we've got Bridget Jones' Diary, Digibook. Now, it's got a UK disc, but it also doubles, which a lot of Universal releases do, as far as I remember, especially with HD DVDs. It's a multi-area disc. So you've got UK, Europe and Australian markets that obviously they use the same disc for. Now, this is all in English. So I just assumed, and I remember these 100th anniversary Blu-ray Digibooks coming out, although I can't remember every single one. But when I looked on Blu-ray.com, the only one of these I could find is a Spanish release. And the same on eBay. The only ones on there I could find again was Spanish release. So this is missing the J card, so I can't for sure know where this came from. But surely if it was a Spanish release, this book would be in Spanish, you would think. I know I've seen quite a few. I don't know that I own any. Maybe I've got one. But I know the German ones always come with German writing in them, and why wouldn't they? So why this one? The point I'm getting is, I don't know what the point is I'm getting at. Was this released in the UK? I can't find, and I only looked, I did spend a lot of time looking, but I looked on eBay and I looked on Blu-ray.com. Like I say, CX also don't have a Digibook version of this listed. So whether this came out in the UK or not, I don't know. But yeah, it was £1, so decided to grab it. Like I say, the only ones on eBay at the moment are Spanish releases, and I don't even know if they're on eBay UK. I can't remember, but they weren't cheap. They'll buy it now, though, so you know you can ask anything on a buy it now. But I think one was about £17 and one was £30 odd. That's not to say I'm going to sell this, although technically I already own this movie, so I don't need this edition. But I do still like to grab Digibooks when they're cheap. Obviously I prefer to get them complete, but for £1. Anyway, so that was My Sister's Place. Lastly, I went into CEX. I actually didn't go into CEX last. That was the last place I went. But I went into CEX, and I had £9.40 worth of vouchers left to spend, and there wasn't an awful lot. Well, there was a lot on the shelf, but there wasn't an awful lot that I wanted to spend that money on. I mean, I could have bought a bunch of £1 or £2, £3 Blu-rays, but that's all common stuff that I can get pretty much any time. I ended up with an Arrow release, so I got Big Trouble in Little China. Now, I'm not as big a fan of this movie as a lot of people are. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I saw it back in about 89, I think, 88 or maybe 89 on VHS. And, yeah, I just thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't watch it again. I don't think until Arrow released this Blu-ray, and I got the Steelbook because I was collecting the Arrow Steelbooks, and I watched it again, and my feelings about it hadn't changed that much really. I just still thought it was an okay film, not a great movie. And every time I see one in CX, I have a quick look. I think the price did dip to about £8 at one point, but it looks like it's starting to go back up. But this one comes with the booklet. It's the first one I've seen since it was released, I think, with a booklet. Now these older releases, you can actually check on the back. It does say there, booklet featuring, you know, new writing, so on and so forth, which they don't put on their releases anymore. I do have a theory why that is, but I'm not going to bore everybody with that right now. But yeah, so this I very rarely, if ever, see second hand with a booklet. I haven't really looked on eBay, to be fair, so I thought, what the heck, I'd just get it, and it's back in the collection because I sold all the Steelbooks off over the last couple of years, and I got a pretty good price actually for the Steelbook version. This one I sold it, even though it had been reissued again by Zavvi, which seems to be their MO these days. Release a Steelbook when it sells out, wait a little while, and then re-release it again and again in some cases. So yeah, another Arrow release to add to the collection. Now I do have an Arrow collection series of videos, but they're 2 or 3, maybe even 4 years old at this point. So I think maybe that might be my next project, is redoing that collection. There's going to be very little in the way of pickups over the next few weeks. One, because most of the shops are shut, but also Black Friday's coming, and I want to save some money for that. So I'm thinking, I mean, you can see in front of you now, part of my Arrow collection, and also on the shelf above there are also Arrow, and the shelf above that and the shelf above that as well is also Arrow, and then the DVDs that I have are also on a shelf elsewhere. So I think we're looking at maybe 3 or 4 parts. I mean, I probably could do it as a whole video, but that'll be one long ass video. In fact, here's an idea. I break it down into 3, 4, maybe 5 videos, and then once they're done, edit it all together into a single video. So those of you who like the really long videos can watch it that way. Anyway, just some thoughts, because with no pickups, there's not going to be much in the way of videos coming over the next few weeks. So yeah, maybe that's one thing to do. Most of the other bits of the collection, I suppose there's 88 films as well. I could do an 88 films collection video, because that has grown significantly since I last did that collection, and my 101 films collection hasn't grown that much. And Eureka, I could probably do a Eureka video in about 10 minutes, because not even 10 minutes, because I don't have many Eurekas. Anyway, I'm going to bring this one to a close, and once again, thanks very much for watching, and yeah, we'll see what the weekend brings. Yeah, thanks very much, and I will catch you next time. Ta-ra.